I spent years being afraid of fat, like genuinely, irrationally afraid of it. I came from a bodybuilding background, so for probably 10 plus years, I tracked everything I ate. I weighed everything I ate. And if you've ever tracked your food before, you know that fats are the most calorie dense, okay? So when you're trying to eat low calorie, you don't want to load your plan up with a lot of fats because they are going to be a lot more calories and you won't get very full from it. So I always thought I was eating healthy, very lean proteins, vegetables, fruits. And then I started doing a deep dive into what my body actually needs to produce hormones and support ovulation and support a pregnancy. And what I found is that eating in that way, not helpful. Okay. So today I'm going to share exactly what I'm eating right now as someone who is actively trying to conceive and why. Because if you are trying to get pregnant, or you just want to optimize your hormones, what you are eating and the type of food that you're eating really, really matters. So quick disclaimer here. Yes, I am a physician assistant, but nothing that I talk about in this video is medical advice. This is for educational purposes only. Please talk with your healthcare professional before changing anything with your medication, supplements, or health protocols. Okay, so here is the thing that a lot of people miss when they're thinking about fertility. So your body is not going to prioritize reproduction if it doesn't feel safe or resourced to do so. So your hormones are made from the food that you eat. Cholesterol, dietary fat, those are the raw materials that's going to then break down to your sex hormones, progesterone, estradiol, and testosterone. So if you're chronically under eating fat or just under eating in general, your body is going to downregulate that reproductive function. Okay, so that doesn't mean your body's broken. That just means your body is doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Your body will get pregnant when it feels safe. This huge mindset shift for me as someone coming from bodybuilding. So I had spent years in a low calorie, low fat headspace, and I had to completely unlearn that in order to give my body what it needed. So I want to, kind of briefly touch on this because I think it gets overlooked. Me personally, I am not tracking my food right now, okay? And that is very intentional because I am focused on food quality, nutrients, and really just eating enough, not restriction. Now, on the other side of this, if you're someone that is carrying a lot of extra body fat, or, you're overweight, you are someone that you may actually benefit from tracking your food because when you have that excess body fat, especially around the midsection, that is going to drive estrogen dominance and insulin resistance, which are two main things that negatively impact your fertility. Okay. So if that's the case, you probably should be mindful of what you're eating. Not crash dieting, of course. No one should be crash dieting if they're trying to conceive, but at least being aware of your food and your calorie intake, okay? Everyone is different. That is why this type of thing, I truly believe, needs to be individualized. But for a lot of women that I work with, especially ones that are struggling with fertility, they are under eating, especially fat and protein. And that is what we are going to talk about today. Okay. So let's start number one with fats, because for me, this was the biggest shift. I had to genuinely rewire my relationship with calorie-dense fats. So again, in my bodybuilding days, fat was the enemy. High fat meant high calories, and that meant you weren't lean. That was the mental model I was kind of operating from that I had to completely rework. But fat is the foundation of your hormonal production. So without adequate dietary fat, your hormones won't work in order for you to ovulate, support a luteal phase, and most importantly, support the pregnancy. So I completely changed my approach. This is what my diet is looking like now. Number one, grass-fed butter. I had such a fear of butter before. Now I use it every day. So I cook with grass-fed butter every day. I don't use seed oils or margarine, genuine grass-fed butter. It's rich in fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K2. These are all very important for hormonal synthesis and reproductive health. K2 especially is something that a lot of people are deficient in, and it plays a really big role in your hormonal balance. Again, this one was a genuine fear I had to get over, but once you do, you realize how freaking amazing butter is. Okay, avocados. That is something I'm eating almost daily. They are high in monounsaturated fats that will help with hormonal production, but also it's going to reduce inflammation. This is a great source of folate, so it's one of the most important nutrients in early pregnancy. And they also have B6, which we already talked about in the PMS hormone video. If you've listened to that, if not, go back to that one. But I usually will do half an avocado in the morning with breakfast, or I'll often add avocado on top of like my evening like beef bowls that I make. Really easy to do, very nutrient dense. Next one is salmon. I am eating a lot of salmon right now. I've always liked salmon, but I used to always just eat it for like my free meal. It wasn't a daily occurrence. I'm pretty much eating salmon every day now. So salmon is one of the richest sources of omega-3 fatty acids, especially EPA and DHA. This is very important for fertility. It's going to help regulate the hormones that are involved in ovulation. It also reduces inflammation, and DHA is critical for fetal brain development in early pregnancy. And kind of a hard word to say, but salmon has high amounts of astaxanthin, which is a powerful antioxidant, and it protects your egg quality. Egg quality is huge if you're trying to conceive, especially if you're trying to conceive and you're a little bit older. So salmon, something I do daily. Sardines. This is a weird one. Not everybody can get on board with this, but I just recently started doing it, and this is actually what kind of triggered me to do this episode, because I was eating a lot more sardines and I was getting a lot of questions about it. So sardines loaded with omega-3s, calcium, vitamin D, B12, iodine. Iodine, absolutely vital for your thyroid function, and you need your thyroid to be optimal in pregnancy, not just within the normal range, but you need your thyroid to be optimal in order to successfully carry a pregnancy, okay? So most women are not getting enough iodine. I personally now am eating 1 can of sardines daily. I know it sounds gross, but trust me, once you try it, it's really not that bad. I just kind of incorporate it to my other foods. So I do like a beef bowl at night for dinner typically, and I'll just add it on top of that. Sometimes I'll also put it on top of a slice of sourdough. I know some people are even doing them like air fried right now. I guess that's a trendy thing. I have not tried that yet, but I will report back on that. Grass-fed beef. Grass-fed beef, another staple right now. It is high in heme iron, which is basically the most bioavailable form of iron. And iron deficiency is one of the most common contributors to fertility issues that most women are not even aware about. So beef, it also has zinc, which helps progesterone production and ovulation. It has CoQ10, which is also an antioxidant. And the fat quality in grass-fed beef is different than, just like standard beef that you'll get. It's higher in omega-3s and linoleic acid. So personally, I have grass-fed beef daily. I do a lot of ground beef. I often do steak as well. But when you're trying to conceive or you're pregnant, that is not the time to be scared of red meat. Eggs, especially the yolks. Probably have heard of this if you have conceived before. It's very, very commonly thought that you should eat eggs during pregnancy. I am someone that ate a lot of egg whites during my bodybuilding days, because you can eat so many egg whites and they're very filling and they do not have a lot of calories. So I was used to eating a ton of egg whites, and I kind of had to switch that up and move to eating more egg yolks. Okay, the egg yolks are where all the nutrients are. So choline, fat-soluble vitamins, healthy fats, B12. That is where the fertility benefits come from, is the yolks, not the egg whites. Choline in particular, something that we should probably highlight separately. This is absolutely essential for neural tube development. Most people are not getting enough of it. Eggs are one of the best sources. I also personally supplement additionally with folate, because I want my folate level at like the most optimal functional range. Okay. So we've talked all about things I'm adding in, but I'm also going to be honest about certain things I am cutting out, because I do think that part matters just as much, honestly. So seed oils is the first one. Canola, soybean, sunflower, vegetable oil. There is so much controversy online about seed oils, and I am not here to debate that whatsoever, okay? But this is the thing. There is some evidence that is showing that seed oils can be inflammatory. If I have a better option that tastes better to me, like butter or avocados, why would I not use that option versus something that could potentially be inflammatory? We don't want inflammation during trying to conceive time period, okay? So in my opinion, that's an easy switch. Like, I don't have to eat those types of oils. I can switch it to something that honestly tastes better to me. So I'm going to do that. Again, not telling you what to do. This is educational purposes. But inflammation, one of the biggest drivers of hormonal disruption. So almost everything, these seed oils are in a lot of packaged things. So this is largely why I eat whole foods, cook at home, and I use grass-fed butter or olive oil. Next one, ultra-processed foods. Pretty self-explanatory, but I'll just mention it again. The issue with ultra-processed foods is that they are also inflammatory. So it will disrupt your gut microbiome, will spike your blood sugar, that will impact your insulin and your hormones. Obviously, we don't want that when we're trying to conceive. So I'm not obsessive about it. Like, if I have something here or there that's processed, it's not the end of the world. But I would say, honestly, 99% of my food is whole food, not processed. Alcohol might be kind of a given, but a lot of people don't realize that in that time period when you're preparing for pregnancy, you also shouldn't be drinking, not just during pregnancy. The last time I personally drank was like a year ago at our wedding. Alcohol impairs your liver function, which means you're going to have impaired estrogen clearance. It raises your cortisol, it depletes your B vitamins and your zinc, all of which absolutely vital for fertility. And the biggest thing to consider here too is that when you're trying to conceive, you have that 2-week period where you just actually don't know if you're pregnant yet. And if you're drinking regularly, probably not smart to be drinking during that 2-week period, which could be the very early stages of your pregnancy. All right, last one, extreme restriction. So I want to come back to this one more time because under eating could be just as damaging as eating bad things, okay? So if you're restricting your calories aggressively, if you're doing a lot of cardio, keeping fat very low, your body is reading that as you don't have the nutrients and the fuel to support a pregnancy. So why would you get pregnant? It's also going to downregulate your reproductive hormones. This is, again, something I had to work through, and it's something I see very commonly with high-performing women, that they think they're being healthy, working out every day, but they're really just putting their body in a stress state, okay? So to be completely honest, my body is a little bit softer now than it was 6 months ago, but that is okay because my goals are different. Okay, want to take a quick second. This part just as important. So, men's fertility. What should your husband be eating during this time? And I think that this is often forgotten because, a lot of approaches to fertility focus on the women. But if we're being honest, 50% of fertility issues come back to what's going on with the man and his sperm qualities. So, sperm motility, morphology, DNA fragmentation, that is all impacted by his lifestyle and, yes, his diet, okay? So my husband is following a pretty similar approach to me. So a lot more grass-fed beef, more omegas, whole fat foods, cutting back on processed stuff. But these are kind of some of the more specific things that we want to focus on. Zinc. So zinc is critical for testosterone production and sperm motility. So grass-fed beef, pumpkin seeds, oysters are some of the best sources of zinc. Selenium. That will support sperm motility and protects sperm DNA from oxidative damage. These can be found in Brazil nuts, fish, and eggs. Omega-3s, we kind of already chatted about this for women, but DHA specifically supports the sperm cells. Things like salmon, sardines, and a solid fish oil supplement can be helpful here. CoQ10, this is an antioxidant that supports sperm energy production and motility. It is found in grass-fed beef and organ meats, and also worth supplementing if you feel like sperm quality could be a concern. So the point is, fertility journey is both of you guys. So it kind of makes it easier if you both are eating similar things and you can be on this journey together. All right, so I want to take a quick second here to zoom out before we wrap up, because I think this is important to say clearly. Diet is just one piece of the fertility puzzle, okay? It is a really important one, but if your stress and your cortisol is through the roof, if your gut is imbalanced, if you're not absorbing nutrients properly, or you have underlying hormonal issues, that, the food alone is not going to be the only thing that impacts your fertility. We need to work on these other things, okay? So this is exactly why I think that functional testing is so valuable when you're trying to conceive. Knowing your actual hormone levels, your thyroid function, nutrient status, and how your body is metabolizing the estrogen, all of that really, really matters, because at that point, then you're not guessing, you're not following somebody else's fertility diet and just hoping it works for you. I personally have been doing this work on myself for 9 months. The difference is huge, how I feel, my skin, my hair, overall sense of well-being, and I'm just really excited to share it because I think it will make a really big difference for your fertility journey. So, to bring it all together, if you're trying to conceive or you're just looking to optimize your hormones, the simplest way I can put it is this: eat real food, eat enough of it, don't be scared of fats. Your diet is either working for you or against you in regards to your fertility. But the good news is you have control over it. So if you want to go deeper on this and actually understand what your body needs, I would love to work with you. We do comprehensive functional testing specific for your fertility needs, okay? So you're not just following a generic plan. It is built for you. The link will be in the description to fill out for the questionnaire for our free initial consult. And again, if this video helped you, save it, share it with someone that's also on their fertility journey. Would love to hear from you guys. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next one.